Welcome to Coreum Concepts. Today I want to talk about a project I stumbled across here that deals with cooperatives and a paper they released with KPMG and ORIC about how it could benefit Web3. So first of all, I want to thank everybody that's supporting my channel. Appreciate all the support and really trying to grow it up to 100 so I could start doing live feeds on my channel. So if I provide you some value, appreciate a subscribe and get us to 100 so I can do quick updates if things are breaking news. And I suspect a lot of news to come in the weeks and months ahead. So hopefully I can get to that 100 mark so I can get live updates out to you guys. So again, today's video doesn't deal a whole bunch with Coreum specifically. It's more has to do with being in compliance and being able to build a project legally, and that can benefit community. That's why I'm looking into this. I have an idea that I've been kicking around for a couple years on a project I'd like to build that's somewhat crowd-funded, maybe somewhat timeshare, something like that. So I've thought of many ways to try and accomplish it, and obviously look into different technologies and blockchains and projects that are building on it to see what they're doing. And there's a variety of things out there that are interesting, but I stumbled across this with cooperatives, and it really resonated with me because I've been involved with cooperatives in the past, whether that's a credit union or a grocery store or public utility, whatever the case is. I was just familiar with them and their structure, and as soon as I heard it, I'm just like, that makes perfect sense. This is exactly what a person like me needs, and I think a lot of Web3 needs to just be done with this SEC oversight and stopping progress and development. So hopefully this can help somebody out there that has a project that they're considering and can benefit themselves or the people that the project's meant to help in a community sense by sharing this information. That's what this channel is all about, is helping everybody grow. So it's not always going to be about a crypto per se, but this is of interest to me, and it solved a big problem that I've been dealing with and trying to get my project onto paper. So hopefully it does the same for somebody out there. So again, appreciate all your support. If you find value in the video, I hope I can earn a subscribe and a like. If you don't like it, just leave a comment and a dislike and carry on. Thanks for watching. Cooperatives, an ownership model for digital networks. This paper was put together by ORIC, KPMG, and Upside Co-op. So I'm not really familiar with Upside Co-op and their business or what they do. I may look into them further. The purpose of this video is not necessarily to promote them or their products, more just to highlight the work they have done in partnership with KPMG and ORIC to lay this solution out for us and see if it provides any help. So, and this is these aren't any small-time guys. Like ORIC's international law firm. It's been founded in the 1800s, has over 1,000 attorneys. They specialize in tech, energy, infrastructure, and finance, over $1 billion a year in revenue. And KPMG, most people are aware of. It's a multinational, one of the big four accounting organizations, 265,000 employees. So this is a lot of work's gone into this by the looks of it, and I really like what I see. So let's get right into it here. Could a legal structure common to credit unions and rural utilities revitalize blockchain and help realize the Web3 vision of a new digital world? As the industry wrestles with this question, builders and investors should consider an approach that offers several advantages, adding cooperatives to their ownership structures. A handful of Web3 projects have done so, but the model is not widely understood in the Web3 context. Credit unions, rural utilities, insurance companies, and agricultural producers often organize as cooperatives. In Web3, projects that add cooperatives to their ownership structures could boost participation, reduce regulatory risk while giving users more control of the digital networks they use and a share of the value they create. The SEC has consistently declined to classify cooperative memberships as securities, enabling cooperatives to distribute ownership to users quickly and easily while also offering important protections to their members. Giving users ownership through cooperatives might even provide builders and investors a better return on investment if they shared ownership with users through tokens alone. This is because the cooperative structure rewards users in proportion to their participation and consequently may provide a stronger incentive than tokens for users to engage and strengthen digital networks. Cooperatives may not be the solution for every project, but they could offer a viable option in cases where existing models of granting ownership fall short. They also offer promising avenues to fulfill broader Web3 aspirations of decentralization and user empowerment. As the Ethereum Foundation puts it, instead of web monopolized by large technology companies, Web3 embraces decentralization and is being built, operated, and owned by its users. Web3 puts power in the hands of individuals rather than corporations. That's why I'm a big supporter of the XRP ledger, Sologenic, and Coreum, is just because of their commitment to decentralization. Anyways, consider the downsides of two prominent models. Governance tokens. Regulators increasingly view these tokens as subject to the same securities laws as stocks. Users may mistakenly believe that governance tokens give them the right to receive profits from a project, which is not usually true, and the governance token value can also swing dramatically, as was clear both before and during 2022. Security tokens. The vast majority of users can't purchase security tokens unless tokens have been registered with regulators or valid securities exemption for the issuance of the tokens is used, which can be challenging in the context of a publicly available token. A cooperative is a legal entity that gives its owners the rights to governance, profits, and liquidation value. Cooperatives also limit owners' liability for the debts of the business. Cooperatives fall into two main categories: those owned by consumers and those owned by producers. Cooperatives typically allocate economic benefits based on the volume of value of an owner's participation as a patron in the business, as opposed to their capital contribution. People can become owners, known as members, of a cooperative by acquiring one non-transferable membership or share directly from the cooperative, often for a nominal price but sometimes for free, and signing a membership agreement. By doing so, members become bound by the cooperative's rules, get voting rights, become eligible to receive profit distribution in proportion to their participation in the business. This bundle of rights constitutes a cooperative membership. Occasionally, cooperatives require members to purchase equity in addition to their non-transferable membership shares, but this equity doesn't usually confer any more voting or economic rights than members get from the basic cooperative memberships. The additional equity is not normally non-transferable, but the cooperative may redeem the equity at face value if a member leaves the cooperative. For new Web3 projects, cooperatives provide a way to give users voting and economic rights without issuing tokens. Though new projects could also choose to issue utility tokens and digital collectibles like NFTs, in addition to giving people ownership of the project through cooperative memberships. In the case of an existing Web3 company that previously issued tokens, adding a cooperative to the company structure would not automatically result in those tokens being deemed non-securities in the eyes of the SEC. The cooperative structure could clarify, however, that utility tokens and digital collectibles are consumptive goods that do not provide rights or control to receive distributions from the project, in contrast to what stocks typically do. When it comes to previously issued tokens that confer governance rights, builders and investors should speak with legal counsel to determine how to integrate those rights most effectively into cooperative governance structure. U.S. regulators consistently signaled that cooperative memberships are not subject to federal securities laws. The fact that cooperative memberships and the membership shares that represent them are non-transferable also distinguishes them from transferable equity in a corporation, LLC, or partnership, which are generally subject to federal securities laws. These attributes naturally protect cooperative members from the kind of harms that securities regulators seek to prevent. Because cooperative memberships are not transferable, they're rarely subject to subject of financial speculation. This chart here just kind of shows the overlaps of all the different use cases and how they can combine into a co-op. I think the use cases is large. It's going to be a big part of Web3 in a year or two ahead. There are many ways a builder can use cooperatives to enhance participation and give ownership in a Web3 project to users in compliance with securities laws. One of the most effective approaches involves holding or consolidating the productive assets of a project under a parent company and allowing a cooperative to join the cap table. This method ensures that builders, investors, and users can access the profits and governance of the entire business on equal footing. This chart shows a typical model for adding a cooperative to the company's ownership structure. So 100% of the cooperative is owned by users who participate in the network created by the parent company. In the beginning, the cooperative may hold a minority equity interest in the parent company. Builders and investors may hold a majority equity interest in the parent company. The parent company and its subsidiaries hold all productive assets in the project, including intellectual property and third-party contracts. The users participate in the network created by the parent company. Users can continue to use and exchange digital collectibles and utility tokens. In the early days of a project, it's unlikely a parent company would distribute profits to builders, investors, and users. Parent companies that would like to share profits, though, could make distributions to the cooperative in proportion to its equity interest in the parent company, or otherwise agreed by the cooperative and the parent company. Profits distributed to the cooperative would be allocated to each user based on participation, usually calculated based on the value of users' transactions with the parent company and its subsidiaries, or with some other measure of patronage. This could be a scoring algorithm that measures participation using variables, other currencies such as the number of comments, such as like shares that a user contributes on a particular social media platform. Profits would be distributed in accordance with Subchapter T of the Internal Revenue Code, which gives specific tax advantages to cooperatives. Under Subchapter T, profits derived from patronage, example transactions in goods and services between members and the cooperative or parent company distributed to members, is generally tax deductible to the cooperative. Tax deductible distributions to members can be in cash, cryptocurrency, qualified written notices of allocation, a kind of IOU particular to cooperatives, or other property. For cash patronage refunds and qualified written notice of allocation, the amount of cash distributed, the face amount of the qualified written notice of allocation, and or the cash distributed. Distributions are generally taxable to members who receive them, though members may not need to pay tax on distributions representing refunds from purchases for personal, living, or family use. Periodic equity sales by the parent company to the cooperative could provide liquidity for builders. The cooperative could fund these acquisitions using fees from the sale of memberships, utility tokens, or collectibles, retained earnings, or other capital raised by the users. Builders and investors could sell tokens to community members for consumptive use within the project, subject to applicable laws. So, and that's the great thing about this cooperative idea, is that the cooperative structure has been around for hundreds of years. The laws around them are well known and litigated. The governance, the structure, everything's all already done. There's no new rules that need to be made or worked out for digital assets. So that's what's great about this, is everything's in place. You just have to build the suit in. Cooperatives are not panacea for Web3. They come with tax and legal questions that require counsel, consideration, and planning to answer. A cooperative offers a path towards greater user participation, transparency, and regulatory certainty. Additionally, regulators can gain greater comfort around the protections and the rights afforded to community members through the cooperative structure. Ultimately, a cooperative could allow users and communities that build value to participate in the economic returns of the project. As such, the cooperative may be tailor-made for the decentralized and user-empowered world of Web3. So that's You know, as soon as I heard that for me in the project I'm looking to create is, it solves everything I need to do. So I have a lot of work to do before I can ever get this project rolling, but the legality part of it, the funding part of it, a lot of it is solved by this piece of the puzzle. So, and then as far as Coreum is concerned, how I want to address that is, being that Coreum's a third generation blockchain that's designed for enterprise use, what particular features, new features does it have that it's bringing? And like, I'm thinking of smart token technology. What can that do for the co-op structure in itself, as far as memberships and things like that? So I hope this was of interest to you guys, and I really hope that it plants a seed in somebody's mind, and so that they can build something that maybe they've had an idea and just couldn't figure out how to get past the regulatory concerns that many projects are still dealing with. Those of us in the XRP community know all too well. So yeah, I hope you find some value in this, and if you did, please give a like and a subscribe. And if you didn't, I don't mind a dislike in the comment. That's okay too. Peace and prosperity to you all.
If you don't think money can buy happiness, you don't know where to shop. You can get money and then go save the world. You can get money and save the forests in Brazil. You make money and go save global warming. But without money, you can't save a fucking thing. Don't you understand? Don't the fucking idiots on YouTube understand that? Until you make some shekels, until you make some fucking coin, you can't help anybody. Because if love got the job done, you wouldn't all be fucked up.